want to talk tonight about two things. I want to explain two concepts, and I will explain how to use them in the future. Right now, I just want to explain the concepts. The first one is something I learned doing DNRS, and it's a concept that anyone can achieve optimal well-being and optimal health and an optimal life, quite frankly, if they live in a state of joy, gratitude, love, peace, and calm for long enough. We have a use it or lose it brain, and there are certain neurological pathways that are associated with those emotions, and that is health. Like that is, it sends healthy signals for all of your body to work correctly. And it's just a really novel concept in our world to think that no matter where you are in your life, physically, emotionally, mentally, in your relationships, that simply pursuing a positive emotional state of joy and gratitude and love and calm and peace for long enough will bring you everything that your heart desires in terms of your physical well-being and your mental well-being and life in general. It's pretty radical, but that's what works. That's what I've done with DNRS, and I have gotten, I can't even say I got my life back because I've gotten a life for the first time ever. I went and got a life. That's apparently how you do it. And I just think that's a concept that's not well known, I'll put it that way, but it's something that is very key in understanding and in my explaining my concept of self-love and what I've learned about what it means to be human, what the point of being human is, how to thrive in life is all started with this one basic concept that if you pursue joy, everything else falls into place. So that's concept number one that is going to make, that's kind of the reason behind everything else I'm explaining. Like that's the next thing I want to talk about is chakras. I discovered chakras in the process of loving myself, in the process of following my intuition without knowing what they were. And I've said in previous videos, I am Catholic, I'm religious and spiritual. And in this process, I mean, so it's kind of interesting because it's obviously not, it's not a very like Western concept. Chakras are a very Eastern concept. But given that I discovered them in my own body and used them first, I became very comfortable with them very quickly because it was like obvious that this was working and I was getting better, and a basic belief that I have, you know, like I believe in God, I believe in the divine, and I decided to believe that he wanted me to be healthy and happy here on earth. And all of this, like, it makes sense logically, and all of this kind of went along with that. But I discovered all of these areas, and there are 7 chakras. I found 6 in my body, so I thought there were 6 chakras, and then I decided to go look it up online and discovered that there were 7 chakras, the last of which has actually been the most potent and powerful in my life and moving my life in the direction I wanted, and in actually finding my life's purpose came when I found my sacral chakra, which I'll probably explain at some point. But basically, chakras are energy centers in various parts of your body. So you have a crown chakra, a third eye chakra, a throat chakra, a heart chakra, your solar plexus chakra, which is right in the middle of your tummy, your sacral chakra, which is about here, and your root chakra, which is down kind of by like your sacral, like your sits bone or your tailbone. That's the word I'm looking for, tailbone. And there's energy there. And this is so much of what I've done in loving myself, has been using these chakras to open up this energy. Because when I realized in the process that traumas and beliefs that we have and experiences, when your brain is traumatized by anything, whether it's an experience or like whether that's emotional or a physical thing or a chemical thing, it could be anything, that trauma stays there until you correct it. And it produces a malfunctioning brain pattern that creates disease in the body, and you get blockages of energy in these different areas. For example, like a really easy example of that happening would be something like depression, where you just feel horrible all the time for no reason. Anxiety would be very similar. I've had both of them in the past. I'm fully recovered from both of them now. And depression for me was like from the time I was 13 till, probably fully gone about, well, actually, when I discovered my sacral chakra was when that disappeared. So April of this year. or when I really kind of turned, once I got to the point where I discovered my purpose in life, there's no reason to be depressed if you know what your purpose is and you know that you can fulfill it. There's no reason to be depressed anymore. So that took care of that. But that's an example of kind of those energy areas being blocked, or having, like, you have false messages and you get these feelings in your body that are not in line with reality. They're false messages. The other easy way to explain what a chakra feeling light and alive is like is, if you have a feeling of love for another human being or for a pet, you get kind of a warm feeling in your heart. If you are really passionate about something, you might get, like a burning kind of strong drive in your stomach. If you feel like excited about something, you might get butterflies in your stomach. So there's just all those, like, there's a lot of different feelings we can get in those areas. But that's something that I've used extensively, and will explain how I did so, because it has been absolutely, like, just radically life-changing. Like, that's basically it's one of the main tools I've used to gain my health back, is using my chakras. Like, putting good energy through there. Each chakra, when it's working properly, has a very light, very powerful spinning energy to it. When it's on and it's working well, you feel open. It's the only time in my life I felt really healthy like I do now, is when all of my chakras are open and have healthy, good energy running through them. This is the only time in my whole life when I've felt this healthy. I have, as of now, achieved a level of health that I've never had before. So, and this is how I did it. It's all energy. And then the last thing I kind of wanted to touch on is energy, actually, because there's so many people, and again, coming from a Christian background, there's a lot of people I know who are Christian, and just people in general who get weirded out and kind of confused by the concept of energy. Everything is energy. The same people, the same person who says they don't like the idea of energy might say they don't like the vibe or the feeling they get when they go to a particular location or talk to a certain person. It's the exact same thing. That's energy. I mean, everything you feel in your body, everything, like, it's all energy. It's neurological, signals, electronic signals. It's all energy. All of that is just energy. And the key, though, is understanding that we can invite in the kind of energy we want if we stop, because thoughts are energy. They create energy and they put that through our whole body. If we stop thinking and kind of just through our will go after the kinds of energies we want, or go towards the thing, like if you look at a flower, like a beautiful flower or a beautiful tree, you get a sense of joy and lightness, and you might get a feeling for, like, that particular, like, people will say a daisy feels sunshiny, which is true. It's yellow. It's like, it's got a sunshiny look to it. That's a form of energy. Like, it's got the same feel as the sun. A red rose is very sultry, very, romantic. Same thing. It's just an energy kind of feeling. I love the color green. To me, it's always a representation of hope and life. It's been my favorite color my whole life for that reason. I love summertime. I absolutely love, like, summertime's my favorite time of year because I love the color green. It's everywhere. Like, everything is so alive, and that's who I am. And so I've just always loved the color green for that reason. So there's kind of a basic understanding of, energies. And obviously there's negative kinds. I'm not going to go into that, but there's people and places and objects, and obviously if someone's, like, flicking you off or swearing at you, you're going to get a different energy from that person. And then if they're smiling at you and saying nice things, there's just a different energy there. Yeah, another example would be, someone who gives off a vibe of being very vibrant, very alive, very passionate, very authentic. And then there's the vibe of somebody who, again, it would be, maybe someone who's severely depressed or has PTSD, and, it looks like there's a black hole coming out of their face. Most people can tell the difference between those two things. That's energy. We're all inherently able to read energy. It's very, very simple and very intuitive. And when you come to understand that as human beings, we're made up of energy, and that beliefs carry energy, that's also one way that you can get blockages kind of in the energy of your chakras, is if you have certain beliefs about things, it will create an energy blockage. The belief runs a program in your brain that sends chemical messages to your body, and whatever, you get to choose what you believe about everything. And I don't mean like big beliefs, I mean like what you actually believe about life, which I'll get into in the future, because that's a huge part of self-love too, is choosing beliefs that are actually true, actually in line with reality and with the nature of who we are as humans. And I've discovered true beliefs by following the good energy. That's the only way I've just that's the way I've reclaimed my health, is by finding what feels like really good light energy, that feels like life and feels like vibrancy and feels like love and well-being and peace and abundance, and the things that feel that way always lead me towards a fuller life and a greater capacity to love and to connect and to create and to enjoy life. So, pretty brief, which is my intent, kind of overgoing of that first basic belief of this concept or this truth that in order to achieve optimal health, all we have to do is pursue joy wholeheartedly, pursue love and gratitude and peace and calm wholeheartedly, and we will find perfect health in our bodies, our minds, and our spirits, and in our relationships. Like, I've rebuilt my marriage by doing this without a lot of effort. Like, most of the effort I did was on myself, and then my marriage has kind of healed along with me. My husband obviously has done his part as well, but we haven't really worked on our relationship at all. It's just been a matter of us changing, and that changed the relationship. Same thing with my kids and just friendships and all sorts of things. It's just amazing what happens when you live in a state of joy all the time. Like, life just blossoms incredibly. Basic understanding of the chakras and kind of how beliefs tie into that, because what we believe about everything in life plays such a huge role. Believing that we are worthy and deserving of the best life has to offer or not, believing we are worthy of health and well-being or not, believing we are lovable or not. All of these things are programs in our brain. I mean, it is kind of like the Matrix. You can just stick in whatever you want and pull it out whatever you want. It's that simple. And I'm going to be talking about this more in a practical way in a future video as to how I've used this to love myself, to reclaim my health, to like actual practical steps of how I've done that. But these are some really basic concepts. And I am curious, because this is all stuff like basically I discovered on my own. I mean, I did not learn this from anyone. I've done DNRS, but it doesn't teach you this. This is stuff I have discovered in doing the program. So I am curious, if anyone has comments or anything like that of different experiences you come to this, and is this interesting? Is this different? Is this does this make sense to you? Does this explain anything that's happened in your life or not happened in your life? I'm really curious, love to connect with people, so just comments, email, whatever you want to do, and until next time, ciao.